Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, host of Bachelorette Nation News. Happy Saturday morning. I'm recording this video way too early because normally I like to wake up at 6 a.m., but today I slept until 6:10 a.m. Not by choice. My dog is a senior dog, and he starts crying at about 5:45 a.m. Why? Because he wants to wake up and get the day started so we can give you guys some news. So here we are. Title of the Us Weekly article that just dropped. Why is Abigail Heringer being dragged into Dale Moss and Clare Crawley split? What we know. So it's been, this is day 3 of Abigate. Thursday, Clare tagged Abigail in a post and then untagged her, or Abigail untagged herself. You know, either side could do that. And everyone's been wondering, why was Abigail tagged? And it's been brought to everyone's attention that is probably because a tryst of sorts happened between Abigail and Dale, or that's a rumor that was enough for Clare to put Abigail on blast. So folks are wondering, why is Abigail being dragged into it? That's why. We'll get into the new information we have, which is basically a source from Dale and a source from Abigail, and they are conflicting their information, which always makes things messier. So if you want to help me make this messy, hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at DNeils. I have a live stream every Saturday morning or Friday, depending on how I'm doing things, on the private Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to be a part of the behind-the-scenes chatter, where I share information based on my analytics, which contestants are DMing me, trying to give me information or telling me which stories not to share. I've got one coming out today that's going to tell you which former lead is asked me politely to not talk about certain things. So you can go on the Patreon if you want to find out that info, that dirt. All right, so first things first, Abigail was spotted, as you saw from this photo. This is Abigail yesterday at an Oklahoma coffee shop, spotted with Noah. Why is that important? Well, because they're on Bachelor in Paradise right now. Normally after the show's over, you try to keep things under wraps, but clearly they're just hanging out in Oklahoma. So we'll have to see how Bachelor in Paradise plays out this coming Tuesday. The finale, we'll have a live stream before and after. And I'm sure it'll be an interesting finale. It's 3 hours, so get out your Adderall and have fun. Can you imagine just watching that show on Adderall? Like, what's coming up next? You'll have to see. So here's Noah responding in one way or another to all of the sort of drama that's happening in Abigail's world. You can hear Abigail laughing in the background.
I just checked my phone and I saw some DMs and some spoiler accounts and a lot of interesting stuff swirling around.
So that's Abigail laughing in the background. Clearly, they're not going to just openly talk about this case of what happened. But if the rumors are true that Abigail and Noah are together, you would wonder what Noah has to think about the fact that Abigail's caught in this tryst, or this three-way dramatic session between Dale and Clare. So here's some new information that was shared on Not Skinny But Not Fat's Instagram account. I am so glad other accounts pull this information up, because this is just like past my pay grade. There is so much drama. There's so many anonymous sources coming out. It's hard to know what to believe. So let's just operate in a place where we take all of it with a grain of salt till the actual people come together. Because Dale and Clare will talk about this more. We'll get answers. It's just not happening yet. And with respect to Clare and her situation, she's with her mom who's entering hospice, which is end of care life treatment. She's got dementia and Alzheimer's. And of course, Clare, back just a few weeks ago, had a very, very touching conversation about her traumatic experiences growing up in the Catholic Church with a priest. It is a heartfelt conversation, totally worth your listen, and you can learn a lot about Clare and her strength and empathy and sort of ability to overcome all that. In that conversation, Dale was a part of the recovery of the, when Clare mentioned when she got her breast implants out due to breast implant illness, it kind of like said, why did I need to get the breast implants in the first place? Why did I never think I was enough? And she kind of started unraveling the cord all the way back to her early childhood. It must be tough to have Dale be there supportive when the cameras are on, as she said in her Instagram story, but then find out stuff like this afterwards, that he was with potentially with Abigail. And the question everyone has is, did it happen while they were together or on a break? We were on a break, or whatever the case may be. Because defining the relationship, it's really about what you and your partner decide to do. You can do a break where you decide we're not going to date other people. We're going to go on a break and just declutter the mind or whatever. We don't know what the case may be. They could have been on a break where they decided, let's just go on a break, but let's also not see other people. And then if she finds out that he hooked up with Abigail, of course that would be a breach of whatever trust they had. If they were on a solid, we broke up, he signed the thing. I mean, he did break up with her and say it on his Instagram and signed it. In that case, if they hooked up during then, Claire doesn't have too much of a case. But if Dale's like, look, I'm not hooking up with anyone else, and then this comes out, then that's a breach of trust. So, anonymous source, they kissed once months ago, Abigail and Dale. Dale told her they weren't together. It was while him and Claire weren't together. Nothing more happened than that one time. So this is the first update. Now, we've got Us Weekly here. So let's just read the Spark Notes. Why is Abigail being dragged into Dale Moss and Clare Crawley split? What we know. So Us Weekly is one of the, I would say, more mainstream sources, call it news, whatever the hell you want to call this, gossip rags that comments on these things. So there's probably maybe a little more credibility, although I say that with a grain of salt because really there isn't much. So Claire says, this is what Claire said in her Instagram post. I'm choosing not to speak right now on the details of my relationship, blah, 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 especially when the cameras are off with no accolades. I'm thankful for the people in my life who offer genuine, unconditional love with no personal gain. Actions speak for themselves. So clearly she's calling out Dale in this moment, and that's where she tags Abigail originally. Demois shared an anonymous tip that a Bachelor in Paradise fan favorite hooked up with a recent Bachelor Nation winner. All signs point to that being Abigail and Dale. Now that if Abigail was never tagged in that photo, we would have had nothing to run with this story. Some people are saying this is a non-story. Clearly it's a story. Clearly something between Dale and Abigail happened. Whether or not it crossed a line, we are not too sure. One source tells us exclusively that Dale Moss and Abigail Heringer previously hooked up long before Paradise began, and Abigail had told many of her friends since she was under the impression that he and Claire weren't serious anymore. So there has been a rumor that other women from Abigail's season, which would be Matt James' season, Rachel Kirkconnell, Piper James, Katie Thurston, that there were plenty of women from this season that knew about Dale and Claire. So if that were the case, that's hard to put back in the bag. If there's multiple people that know, unless they're all best friends with Abigail, someone's going to talk, someone's going to give away information. The insider claims that Crawley found out about the alleged hookup from the internet rumors that day and tagged her in her photo to show everyone that she knew what had happened. Abigail later untagged herself. And then here's the other source. Maybe this is Dale's source. They met once at flag football in New York City that a bunch of Bachelor people attended. Everyone went to a bar after. They did not sleep together. He's never cheated on Claire. They never kissed or had sex. Dale is friends with Abigail. The insider also adds that the former football player flew to Sacramento on Tuesday to spend the day with the Bachelor Winter Games alum and her mom, noting he spent the night at Claire's place on Tuesday and flew to LA Wednesday morning for work. On Wednesday, Moss attended his first event, joining Tyler Cameron at the Light Boxer Experience Day at Triller House in LA. Dale seemed to be in a good mood. He was very sweet and took a ton of pictures. So obviously the flight from Sacramento to LA is probably an hour. So not too far away. Reports that they broke up started more than several days ago. So this is just fascinating how quick the timeline is here. And it does make you wonder if Claire was operating off of the right information, if she tagged someone literally the day after Dale was with her or within 48 hours. So a lot went down there. Obviously, Claire's dealing with a ton here with her relationship with her mom, as far as putting her in hospice care, not to mention the results and reaction in recovery of breast implant illness, which if you don't know, I made a bunch of videos about that. But essentially, for some people, when they get breast implants, your antibodies in your immune system treats that as a foreign object, just like they would a cold or a flu or whatever, and they're constantly attacking it. So you get fatigue, anxiety, all these other issues. And as soon as you remove the breast implants, that's when you start to heal, gain back your strength. But it'll come with residual effects of all of the damage done. So Claire's dealing with a lot here. You would hope that whatever information she was operating off of was enough of validity for her. But at the same time, it does appear in their relationship that Dale, he's overcome rumors that he was cheating on Claire with, his real estate agent. If you're going to be a tall, good-looking guy and going to bachelor events where everyone's going to bars after, rumors will come up that you may have been cheating on somebody, especially if Clare and Dale were broken up. So it's messy at best. And let's just read a few of your comments. This article is a journey. Sources say Abigail had told friends about the hookup that was earlier this year because she was under the impression that Dale and Clare were not serious. Then another Dale source says Dale had never hooked up with Abigail. Dale had actually been in Sacramento on Tuesday to visit Claire and her mom and stayed overnight before going to LA on Wednesday. Claire found out about the potential Abigail situation because of the Demois stuff. I don't think, listen, if someone's like really not internet savvy, they might take the Demois sources as fact. But truth is, like, look, if I was famous and there was a Demois article that my fiance hooked up with a guy, and I knew that on that same night that she was out bowling with friends, at the very least, it would not feel good. As much trust as you can have in your relationship, it would not feel good to read these things. But you can't take them as if they're always fact. They can be, any scorned person could write these things. And there's a lot of scorned people out there. They need to get their story straight because this just makes me think they're both lying. Now I'm more convinced he cheated on Claire. I don't think Abigail is lying. I can totally imagine Dale telling other women that he and Claire is either on a break or that they're not exclusive. They've been on and off since the show, so it's not that difficult to believe. And of course, Dale has to deny it, as every other explanation will make him look like the bad guy. I think he likes Claire, but he's definitely not in the same place as her. He's not ready to settle down. The article said the hookup was way before Paradise, which was June. So that lines up with a January-February timeline, and Dale telling Abigail he wasn't serious with Claire. Sounds like Dale saying him and Claire were on a break, broken up. Meanwhile, Dale's source is saying nothing happened. I believe Abigail's side, and Claire finding out on DM and taking Abigail definitely tracks with Claire's extremely reactive personality. I appreciate that she doesn't just sit there and take Dale's stuff, LOL. But I hope she has finally learned her lesson, because I don't want to listen to her putting Dale on a pedestal again if they get back together. She kind of did it during her Red Table Talk, and the interview came out as they were over yet again. It's going to suck seeing her do all of this and point fingers at another woman, only to take... Oh, my alarm's going off, which means it's time to wake up. Great. Glad. Good to wake up. Thanks, Boone, my dog. I love him. He can wake me up at 5 a.m. any day he wants. Pick a... That's love. My voice is going. Pick a stance and keep it. Either he's this amazing man who has healed you from everything, or he's the guy who lies and acts for the camera and for fame. Which is it? He can't be both. Or you've been lying this whole time to everyone, and you've been embellishing things to make him sound amazing when you know he's a POS and you're a clown. Well, people don't understand how difficult this can be to navigate these relationships and know that there's all this criticism coming at you. So I definitely have grace for Claire and Dale in this scenario. Let's do some conditional statements here. If it is true that Dale didn't hook up with Abigail and that these rumors are false and Claire was operating off of faulty information, I hope Dale tries to win tries to win Claire back. And I hope Claire will believe Dale. And I really do wish that they could resolve this. They're operating in a world that doesn't exist for normal plebeians like you and I. I had to look up plebeians. It is a Roman townsperson. They're royalty. They're in this position where people will try to tear them down. If Dale kissed Abigail or even hooked up with Abigail, but it was in a time where him and Claire were on a break, I would hope that Dale would fight to win Claire back. And I would hope that Claire understands that if he does fight to win her back and she is able to believe him, and there is some truth to that they can overcome this. Do I think that will happen? I'm not sure. All I know is the last time they broke up, they tried maybe a month not together, and they realized that they could work through this. And they did, and they were happy. So obviously it's important and good for everyone to see therapy for different reasons. And in their situation, if they can somehow find the truth and overcome this speed bump, their relationship could be stronger from it. But also, when you start calling out your ex on Instagram, it's hard to come back from that. So we will have to see how it all plays out. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Unless there's any other crazy breaking news, this might be my last video for the weekend. If you do want to catch more content, you can go to patreon.com/Dave Neal, where I've got all my extra videos, dozens of hours, plus live stand-up comedy, and you can go support me over there. So shout out to all the new members. We have, I think, over 160 now on the Patreon. That really helps my channel buy all the extra equipment and gear and keep things running. And anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys later on. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your apple orchard picking and whatever other fall activities you're doing. Go Patriots. Go Tom Brady. Bye, guys.